We are on Tranca Street, which feeds into Monticello Road, which is on the way to Lake Berryessa.
We're on our way to Lake Berryessa.
That we are, and of course that, as we all know, is where Zodiac stabbed Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Ann Shepard on September 27th, 1969.
Well, you can slow down.
Okay, coming up here is the old man. I think that's just sort of what they call him. There's a rock that has a profile that overhangs the road here that looks like an old man, and somebody put a bit of metal that looks like a pipe. It's painted red. You'll see it coming up here on the right-hand side.
Well, that looks like an old guy smoking a pipe.
Yep.
You know, that was here in September, October 1969 because I have footage of the police following school buses on this route. To Lake Berryessa, and you can see in that footage, you can see the old man, the pipe hanging out.
That looks like they have beer down there. I'd love to stop, but I don't think we have time.
We'll stop on the way back.
That's Moscow White Corners, and of course we'll hit that on the way back. Ed's right. About how far are we from Lake Berryessa?
Oh, let's see. I would guess we're probably within about 5 miles of the lake itself. Although we've got maybe about 10 to actually get to the attack site.
So from here it's about 10 miles to where Zodiac attacked Cecilia Shepard, Brian Hartnell.
Yes, I'd guesstimate it's about that far, yes.
Hey, that's the place that that's Turtle Rock. Yeah, I've drank beers there. It's a dump. Okay, let's keep going.
It is definitely just incredibly winding. If you take your eyes off the road for more than a split second, you can end up dead. It's treacherous, really.
Okay, here is Spanish Flat Resort.
Spanish Flat, this is where we have our little get-togethers. Yep. Wow. I've had fun here. There it is. Oh, goody. Where the heck are we?
We are at Sugarloaf Boat and RV Storage.
Mm-hmm. How come we're here?
We're here because on the day that Hartnell and Shepard were stabbed
Right.
over at Lake Berryessa, only about a mile and a half from here, there were 3 girls from Pacific Union College that had noticed an unusual man that was watching them.
What did this used to be?
It used to be an A&W.
Oh, yeah, the A&W, yeah.
Yeah, also, as you can see, called Sugarloaf. This is what appears in Ken Narlow's report.
For the Napa County Sheriff's Department.
That is correct.
So those 3 girls were here at this, it used to be an A&W, and they saw this weird guy pull up, and he was, like, giving them the creeps, right?
That's correct.
And then a couple hours later,
They were sunbathing actually not far from where Hartnell and Shepard were stabbed.
Yep. So he was just, like, scoping them out.
Yeah.
Could have been the Zodiac.
But then again, it could have been anybody. We just don't know.
Too bad it's not A&W right now.
I know.
Yeah.
So now all that's left is what used to be the A&W.
Well, you can still get some ice.
Okay, we are parked on the side of Knoxville Road, and we're overlooking more or less
That's a fine car.
Oak Ridge. This is roughly where Hartnell and Shepard had parked that day so long ago. So they would have walked down in this general direction.
This way? Towards the lake, huh?
Down the hill. It probably would have easily taken at least 10 minutes to walk down there. Zodiac, of course, parked right behind them. Yes. But it certainly is not easy to hike down there and then turn around and hike back.
No, I would. Especially not after what we did last night.
No. It's a lot easier to drive down there these days, which is exactly what we're going to do.
All right. Boy, this is a remote area, even though it's been developed for recreation a little bit more than it was 35 years ago.
At C, we need to go to the left to Twin Oak Ridge. We do not want to go to the right to Shale Point.
Okay.
That's where a certain yellow book indicates that the actual attack took place. It was not. It's to the left of Twin Oak Ridge.
So it's not Shale Point?
No, it is not.
So
That's what it
so
says.
there was the yellow book got something wrong?
Believe it or not, yes.
I have a hard time with
Yes. Twin Oak Ridge.
that. Twin Oak Ridge is the place.
That is the place. And it looks like the lake level has dropped a lot, so Zodiac Island is probably not an island at this point.
Yeah. Well, those bumps don't help my hangover.
You had a hangover?
The Ferrano,
You didn't have that much to drink.
I have enough.
Yes, anyway. Look at that, there's even a houseboat.
Now this is the right spot.
This is the correct place, yes. Of course, this parking lot was not here in 1969.
Right.
I think we can get it unlocked. There's no one else here except for
Wow.
that one person.
Well, I don't trust that one person. Okay, now we're going to go down to the actual scene.
Now, of course...
Hang on, I want to get a shot of this entire area.
All right.
By the way, the road is somewhere up there. Now, this is the Jeep trail that at ZodiacKiller.com there are aerial shots of the Lake Berryessa scene. And those aerial shots you can see, I think it's this general area there was a Jeep trail.
Yes, there was.
So this hasn't really changed much.
No. And in fact, if you were to compare the aerial photo with all these little contours here, you'll find they're still exactly the same today as they were 35 years ago.
There's a footprint right there.
Maybe it was
Probably not a wing walker, then.
No.
According to the footprints that were recovered at the crime scene, he walked down this direction. Oh, look, somebody is, yeah.
The very spot where Hartnell and Shepard were stabbed.
That's the exact spot right in there.
That's what it looks like.
Wow.
Of
I hope
course.
they're not naked.
Now, the yellow book has got it all wrong because,
What?
yes, it has, of course, over at the other island.
Where's that?
That's like about a half mile to the south. You can't see it from here. But the other thing is, the author indicates that
Of the yellow book?
of the yellow book indicates that Zodiac walked all the way around the island on the other side, then back up behind. There's
You can't do that, yeah.
Well, you can, but there's a lot of shale you'll like crunch as you walk along.
And you'd get wet or you'd sink, depending on how much of a, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That looks pretty sloppy over there right now.
Yes, but he would have walked directly up this way.
Boy, yellow book. That's where we came from.
And there's the ridge overlooking Zodiac Island. I've often
And this
thought-
is an island oftentimes, too, because the
yes.
water comes all the way up over, and then all the way up over here. Yep.
It's been dry enough.
You know, you're going to freak out those picnickers with that shirt on.
Yes, I will.
That's a fine shirt, though.
Yes, it is. I even have a target on the back.
Man, a shirt like that could easily cost $40, $50. I understand you got a good deal on it at the ZodiacKiller.com website.
Yes, I did.
So that's where everyone parked.
Yeah, it's.
And they came down this area and walked over here.
Now, Knoxville Road's about 500 yards up that hill.
And that's right about where the victims were, by that bent tree. Don't freak out those nice people.
Well, it's good to know that they're on guard.
Yeah, most of these people have guns. Well, I think we've fully exploited this section.
Yes.
And I'm getting kind of hot. It's got to be 100 degrees.
Very easily.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What was Brian's middle name? You gave Cecilia's, but not Brian's. I know it. I know it. Do you know it? Come on, Ed.
I should know what it is, too.
It's Calvin.
That's right, it's Calvin. Yes, but he was from Troutdale, Oregon. I do remember that.
Well, everybody knows that.
Where the heck are we?
We are at the Corners, the general store at Moscowite Corners.
What's the deal with this place?
This is where, on the same day that Hartnell and Shepard were stabbed over at Lake Berryessa, an unusual man came in here and was asking anyone who would listen what the fastest way from the lake is. The funny thing is, the fastest way from the lake is right behind us, just right up there.
And where did this story come from of the suspicious man?
This came from a certain yellow book entitled Zodiac.
I don't think I've heard of that. So we're in Iowa?
Not quite.
So the time on the car door that Zodiac wrote was 6:30. Is that correct?
It was 6:30.
And then the phone call was made.
At 7:40 p.m. And so the assumption is that Zodiac, as he was writing the previous two attack dates on Brian Hartnell's car door and then the current one of September 27th, he must have looked at his watch, it's 6:30, and wrote the time.
Right.
And then took a leisurely 70 minutes to drive into Napa. If he'd gone south along Knoxville Road to Monticello Road, it would have taken 45 minutes.
And that's the route we took to get to Lake Berryessa.
Yes, that's right.
So he would have taken that route back. He should have got to the
phone booth
by
about
7:15.
Yes, and yet he didn't do so.
When was the call made?
7:40 p.m.
Yeah, so he needed an hour and 10 minutes to get to the phone.
Now, if he had gone the way that we're going now, then he certainly would have got back to Napa nearly, about an hour and 5 minutes later, right about the time that the phone call was made.
So this is most likely the route he took.
I would like to think so, yes.
Okay,
But
25 miles an hour around this curve there, Ed.
we're going 45, no problem. But yes, there was apparently a Bigfoot sighting here in the 70s in Pope Valley.
Wow. Worst roads I've ever been on in my life. This escape route is treacherous. You don't just happen upon Lake Berryessa and decide you're going to kill someone and reasonably expect to get away because you easily get lost. And he planned the crime because he had pre-cut lengths of cord or rope that he tied him up with, and he had cotton taped to the handle of his knife, which is first-degree murder right there because he had the cotton taped to the handle of his knife, so that means it was premeditated. It was premeditated murder. You don't tape cotton to the knife unless you are planning on stabbing someone multiple times.
All right, we are standing right by the building where Zodiac, after his stabbing at Lake Berryessa, made his phone call to Napa PD on the evening of September 27th, 1969, approximately 7:40 p.m. So the phone booth itself was somewhere along this side of the building, which back in 1969 was known as the Sam Key, that's K-E-E, Laundry. And of course, for those of you who have been following the case know there's apparently some sort of water connection. We have a laundry here. This parking lot used to be the Napa Car Wash. The car wash itself was along the back part of what is now this parking lot, right in front of those trees there. And of course, right through the trees is the, let's see, Napa Creek. So we've got like water everywhere right in this one area. And then, of course, right across the street, we have Rosita's, which has, as everyone knows by now, killer Mexican food. Best Mexican food in the universe, and where all zoodiologists hang out whenever they're here in Napa. Well, Tom, right now we are standing in the parking lot in front of Queen of the Valley Hospital. And this is where Cecilia Shepard died on September 29th, 1969. She and Brian were brought here right after the stabbing at Lake Berryessa. Of course, Brian Hartnell survived. He's now a successful lawyer practicing down in Southern California.